This is heavy.
Anyways, thanks for coming to hang out, man.
Thanks for having me.
Local photographer Blaine Prickett,
right.
Outdoorsman. I see all the fishing stuff that you put on your Instagram, and you're also the man behind Instagram Beham, which is got a really strong following of like photographers and just local stuff that's happening here in the city. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So I started it 8 years ago, July 1st, 2012.
Dude,
when I
8
kicked
years?
It off. Yeah.
That is crazy long.
Yeah. And if you're following right now, you're probably like, why is he like not posting as much? Because I'm taking a break after 8 years. That's why. And a new dad, so hanging out with my daughter, doing a lot of. Thank you.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. It's been great, man. She's actually 7 months old today.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Big milestone.
Yeah. So how's that first couple months been?
It was great. So. You always have people like ask you, especially like new parents or just parents in general, like, so sleeping? I'm like, actually, yeah, we are. And they're like, wait, what?
Really? Man.
Yeah. So like it's been pretty smooth sailing, which is rare for most, I guess, from what I understand from my friends that have kids. But yeah, everybody's like, dude, you're so lucky, that she's sleeping all night and stuff. I mean, she'll wake up once every night, but for the most part, pretty easy. So it's been great, man. 7 months today, like I said, so it's been a lot of fun. I wish somebody told me sooner like how much fun it would be,
Really?
But, yeah. Okay. It's like
that's rad to hear, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it like, I've been married a few years now, and it was just time, and we both wanted a child, and then so Layla came along, and it's been great ever since, man. So
dude,
to anybody considering it, go for it.
That's really cool, man. Our friends Alex and Sarah just welcomed their second child, daughter. And I think she posted the other day on social, she was like, I got 5 hours of sleep last night. It's a miracle,
Yeah.
So
it's a new record.
Both of their kids, they have not slept at all the first couple of months. So it's really funny to hear like their stories and stuff.
It's
so
interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. We don't have kids, but I can imagine it can be.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. But yeah, and even though your friends probably aren't sleeping, it's so worth it. They're loving it. It's so much fun, especially like this week. I bought my daughter like this backpack, like this super heavy duty like backpacking backpack for her to like ride on my shoulders pretty much. Yeah, and like so. We went on our first hike with it the other day, and she's just like in awe because now instead of like being in a stroller facing us or being facing her chest or whatever, now she can see the world, and you can kind of present that to her and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So yeah.
So you're a photographer, and
right, yeah.
Obviously got a really successful following on your Instagram Beham account. It's really cool. How did all that get started, and how did you kind of get into photography in the first place?
Well, so I actually started it July 1st, 2012. I remember it because I was literally eating like Fruity Pebbles or something, just like chilling on the couch. And that's when it like hit me to kind of kick this thing off. Instagram had been around since 2010. I joined like 2011. And I had spent a good bit of time on it leading up to that. And then I noticed these communities across the country popping up, people kind of showcasing their cities, showing it off to the world, whether it be to locals or to people just interested in visiting these places. And at the time I was working in marketing and graphic design. I was like, well, who better to kick this off than me? So that's when I started it. I actually started it, created the account, and then like immediately created like a logo, cover photo for a Facebook page, and like just ran with it from there. And then initially I started running around the city with cell phone and a point and shoot, just shooting photos of different things that I knew about, like cool little hidden gems or like nice little areas for taking a photo of the city, sunset, what have you. So that's how it started. And then slowly but surely presented it to the people that started following, presented it to them to like, hey, you guys can share photos, with members of this community. That's what this is going to be. It's going to be a community. share your photo, use hashtag Instagram BHAM, and then from there it just took off. So now I don't know how many, it's like hundreds of thousands of photos and videos on that hashtag.
See if you can pull that up, Katie. I think we had the account pulled up a second ago.
Yeah, like just the hashtag alone is, I mean, it's pretty stacked.
It's pretty wild, man. And it's
this is a mix of like photos of community members or photos that I've taken.
Yeah. It's just all like Birmingham based.
Yeah,
just
it's all
things
Birmingham.
that are happening, and it's
either stuff happening or me, partnering with companies or organizations to give away stuff and, have contests and things, or photos submitted from members of the community. And again, or stuff I'll run around and shoot. But majority of it now is from members of the community, especially now that I'm a new dad.
Yeah, sure. So when you got started with it, I mean, were there other community-based, like, I guess, pages like that? I mean, I see like there's dozens of them now. There's BHAM now. There's Happenings in the Ham. There's Badass BHAM. It's like it's just saturated. Like
no knock on any of those guys, but they weren't around.
Yeah.
They weren't around then.
Not the OG.
Well, I mean, they weren't around then. Like the Happenings folks, I know them well, and I don't know when they actually started up their thing, but they followed Instagram BHAM. I know that like pretty early on.
Yeah.
The BHAM Now thing, that kicked off just a few years ago or something. But there's several other ones, that naturally popped off since. I know you had what's the guy, Eating Alabama?
Eating Alabama, Nick.
Yeah. Like, that's a cool account. I love that it's turned into that. There's so many different things. The Happenings folks do the events, what have you. My thing was I just wanted to present the city to the world. That was it. Be it through beautiful photography or to locals that may not know about things that we already have.
Okay.
I had a lot of conversations with people like my own age that were like, man, I'm leaving, going to California, or I'm moving.
Dude, how many times did I hear that?
That's right.
I hate Alabama. Alabama sucks. It's like, okay. Well, have you ever done this or been here or done this or seen this? No, we have that. Like, yeah, dude, we do. So it was for those folks. It's for everybody just to show them like what we actually do have, and let people members of the community themselves present it to one another. And then I would just showcase it like, hey, can I share this photo? And that's how it started, and it kicked off from there.
It's really rad, man. And over the course of the last 8 years, I mean, the city's grown tremendously.
Yeah.
All the new things that are happening, and it's a really good way to
it's made it a lot easier. That's
stay in the know. Yeah,
right.
So,
it's 2012. Really cool. There was like a whole lot of nothing. So
yeah, man, that's crazy.
But yeah, man. So it's been a lot of fun. And for the account to grow right along with the city it's been so much fun to see. And it makes it so much easier to share these things, and so many more talented people, latching onto the account.
Yeah.
It's one thing Birmingham has no shortage of is talented people, whether it be photographers, videographers, musicians, you name it. There's a lot of talent in this town, and a lot of it, fortunately Instagram provides a way for them to present their talents to the world, and then, they share it with this community, and I share it with the world as well. So that was the whole premise behind it.
That's cool, man. I look at an account like, BHAM Now, for example. They're like a full-blown, like,
it's like a
media group.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you didn't really want to go that direction.
No.
Okay.
It's so it's kind of funny you say that, because like early on I had like people trying to buy the account from me.
Sure.
And it got real weird. So
I was about to say, like, how does that work? Do you have like, say I'm a restaurant owner and I approach you and I'm like, hey man, get my name out there. Like, how does that work? Do you just can anybody just get on the account? How do you
No.
What does that look like?
Oh, like working with people?
Or I don't know, whatever you're about to say.
Anytime I've ever worked with anybody, that's just kind of me picking and choosing who to work with. Just a heads up, don't email me and say, hey, tell the world what I have and what I do is better than sliced bread, because I will never support you. Like, period.
I have the best hamburgers in town.
Right.
And you need to tell the world.
I deserve to be on your page.
The funniest thing ever was early on was running around the city, running this account that was gaining steam. And at the time was one of the few social media accounts that had like 10,000+ followers or whatever the case. And, but running around and like, I didn't tell anybody it was me. Like, nobody knew except for like maybe my best friends in the world. And that was it. And then like, going to a place, maybe not being treated the best, and then but then get an email from the same person like, hey, like, we'd love to have you and like show you and give you the world. And
you're like, dude, I was there.
I was
Y'all
totally
were rude.
That
whatever. I don't know.
I mean, that just so people know, that's how they should treat all their customers. I mean, that's a good lesson for everybody. If you're in any kind of service industry, is like, you don't know who's coming through there, because literally those same people email you like, hey, like, we want to give you like free meal and you just come like hang out and take pictures of our restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like, I was just there last night.
Little do you know.
You were the person that waited on me, like that kind of deal. So, I'm not, it's not all bad. It did happen a couple times. It was kind of funny. And then there were other instances that were kind of silly too. Like, when people like close to me started figuring out that it was me, like girls would come up and say like, there's guys like presenting themselves to girls at the bar like, I run Instagram BHAM, right?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
It was so silly.
Our dog's going crazy for anybody that's listening.
It's all good. But it was funny. I mean, you have to think this is early Instagram years too. So It wasn't what it is today, where it's like half the city has 10,000+ followers or something, it seems nowadays. Like back then it was like, I guess, a big deal. But it was pretty funny.
Is Instagram dying off? Is it
no,
being replaced by,
I don't think so. I think they, I think they're just trying to be too much. Like when they updated recently, and I'm sure yours may have updated too, where like now the post button is like way in the corner, and then like there's like a store button down here. It's like, what is going on? So I don't know. I still love it. I'm just like, guys, let the TikToks be the TikToks and all that, and you just keep doing you. But I don't know.
It definitely seems like it has a place where it does. It's
but
not all video related, but they're trying to be more TikTokish with the reels and all that stuff. So,
right.
I mean, I guess that's just the trends. I don't know.
It is what it is. But yeah, early years was kind of funny.
That's cool.
Like, all of that. So
what do you do? Are you said you were
outside of it?
What you said you were into like marketing when you kind of started it.
So at the time, I was working for actually a girlfriend's family's company, and was working in marketing for their small business, which was actually a manufacturer of like desserts and things. But since then, I've left. I actually work at a local university. I manage 7 retail businesses that are like, food businesses. So that's what I do for a day job. Photographer as well in spare time.
Okay.
Shoot family photos, engagement photos, stuff like that. Just, not as like my main thing, but just something to do, for fun on the side.
Well, it's pretty rad, man. I was surfing through your site and I saw like pictures from Italy and like Portugal or something. Like, that like you're doing a lot of traveling and stuff. It's really cool.
Well, that's the only international traveling I've ever done, but it was pretty sweet.
That's awesome. We had our friend Justin on here, and he's he big photographer, and he travels all over the country and does a lot of outdoor like landscape type stuff, and it's really rad. And so I didn't really didn't know if you were into doing anything like that, because I saw on your Instagram where you do a lot of big into fishing and stuff. That's cool.
All right, yeah, a buddy of mine a few years ago introduced me to fly fishing. My buddy Stu. And I've been hooked, no pun intended, ever since. And so we take a lot of trips, all over the Southeast and go fish. This weekend we're going to North Georgia to do some fishing. So I just shoot all that stuff for fun, man. It's not like work. It's just I take my camera everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of buddies of mine used to give me, shit for running around the city with a backpack, and always had it on me. So just my camera's always with me.
Yeah, dude.
I just enjoy it, I grew up, wanting to get into photography, didn't really have the opportunity, had like a shitty Polaroid when I was a small child, and then that transformed into some other film camera, but nothing ever really came of it. And then I guess it died off. I focused on like, graphic design and drawing and things like that throughout teenage years. And then so interestingly enough, like, Instagram kind of brought photography back to me in a way. Like,
sure, yeah, it makes everybody want to be a better photographer. I guess I don't know. I
mean, I always admired people that were great photographers, and then now I'm able to follow them and see like everything they're doing, and it made me want to get back into it. And sure enough, that's what led me to do all this. So, and still to this day, like all the Birmingham photographers, there's so many great ones. Wes Frazier, like there's so many of them that are really, really good that they'll push you to become better. Like just, that's one of the plus sides of that whole app. No matter how much they change it, I think the root of it will always be that,
So it was built around the aspect of photography and
right.
So.
Yeah, the entire thing's built around the aspect of photography and just sharing, Birmingham with the world. So,
yeah, that's cool. Speaking of Wes, he is a really talented dude. I follow him. Does he do like film mostly, or is he doing digital or both? Or?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never been with him while he's shooting anything. He'd be somebody to have on here. Josh Weekman as well. He's a concert photographer. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
All those dudes, so talented though.
Do you think it's gotten harder just because of the technology and the ease of, our smartphones can do what digital cameras could do, 5 years ago? And do you think it's harder for someone who wants to be a photographer full time,
professionally,
to kind of make their mark nowadays when it's everywhere?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know. One of those dudes would probably have to answer it.
Yeah.
Since I'm not doing it full time, I don't know. I do know you are competing now with everybody's cousin who got a DSLR for Christmas. That's the problem. I don't know about smartphones taking over or anything. Yeah,
I guess it's not quite.
Not there yet.
But
a lot of folks that are like, oh no, my cousin will do it for free. Okay. It just comes down to the quality you want.
Sure.
and the knowledge that people have gained over the years to create what you want. So,
I feel like that's something that you guys run into a lot, or would run into a lot.
Yeah, not as much as you'd think. We do a lot of wedding photography, and I hear it a lot. Like, oh man, you must see people like getting in your shots all the time with their iPhones and stuff. It's like, really not that much, but sometimes. I don't know. You have to tell Uncle Ben to sit down. I do remember one time we were shooting, and the bride was walking down the aisle, and I was actually doing video for this wedding, and this lady stepped just right out in the aisle in the middle of my way with a big iPad.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, you're killing me. Like, come on.
You must have shot a wedding my grandmother was at or something.
Yeah. And so a lot of our like photography clients and stuff, they will have signs and stuff up saying, hey, keep your phone in your pocket. We're professionals here.
We paid a lot of money for this.
Yeah, and so most people respect that. And so we don't have that big of an issue. But, man, you grew up, you said you grew up in Hoover.
Right.
And we're into skateboarding. We were kind of talking about that before and how all the miscellaneous connections we have through skating. And
there is
really cool.
2 degrees of separation in this city from everyone. So, yeah, half the people you have on your podcast, like I know personally, it's kind of funny. But yeah, skateboarding, man, that back in the day, there was nothing to do in this town but skateboard, you know, as a kid. As either your parents had money to take you to Vail or you were skateboarding in the streets in Birmingham, and I was skateboarding in the streets. So,
dude, I was so jealous of all the kids that got to go to, like, not that anybody I knew, but just seeing other, like, in magazines and stuff, Camp Woodward, and I was like, dude, I want to go to Woodward so bad. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah, but Josh Weekman can tell you about that. He worked there for a while.
Really?
He's a BMX guy. Yeah,
dude, I think I saw some of his pictures. Had, I guess it was him. I didn't know if he was just taking pictures of people BMXing or if that was
both
pictures of himself.
But yeah, I always wanted to go to Woodward too. But I was never good at skateboarding. It was
me neither. No,
it's more like I'm the filmer, guys. I'll put together the video.
Yeah, dude, that was me. I ran around with that GL2 behind you. And
nice.
Like that was my thing. I was like, well, I'm not good enough to make it as a
I'll film.
skateboarder, but I can film and just hang out with my buddies.
I was just the little brother that tagged along.
Hell yeah.
He hated it. Mom would make me go with him and his friends, and he'd be like, please don't make me take Zach.
It wasn't that bad, man.
It was pretty bad. I remember we were going to we went to his buddy Randy's house, who we grew up in Pleasant Grove, and Randy lived a pretty good bit away. They're like, oh, we're skating, and Zach, you just ride your bike. And I feel like my bike had like a flat tire, so you made me walk or run behind them as they skated down the street.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, man.
No way.
It's cold.
When Randy comes on, we'll talk about it. I'm sure he remembers.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all, dude.
So did you skate at all?
I skated all of his hand-me-down boards.
Oh, yeah.
But
here's another cracked one.
Yeah, we
I'm done with this.
It's true. And we talked about it with Peter. Our dad got us plans to build a half pipe one year, and so they built it. And I want to say either the day or the day after we built it, I broke my arm on it.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, that was crazy.
So you guys were talking about the Homewood Skate Park in the episode with Peter of your podcast. That freaking mini ramp there, I broke my wrist on that mini ramp.
Really?
Yeah, I clipped that barrier at the top and just flew off the edge.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and just snapped it. Here's the worst part. It was during a contest they were having at the park. So everybody at the park's like, shut the hell up. Like, because
You're like, no, dude, I'm really hurt.
I'm screaming on the ground like, oh, my God. And everybody's like, shut up. We're trying to watch. You know, it's like,
dude.
That. Yeah, it's brutal.
I've been fortunate. I've never had any, like,
this is the only time
broken
I've had
bones
like
or anything. But
it was the only time I ever broke a bone, but it was there, and that sucked. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Well, maybe you can give us some tips going back to the fishing thing, man. We bought kayaks, and do you fish anywhere around here?
Yeah, the Cahaba for sure.
Okay. We've been fishing
and
for
lakes and stuff.
A couple months now.
Been fishing. We bought fishing gear.
What do you call it when you
We've
go?
been casting.
Nice.
A lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
For like a year and a half now.
Like spin casting or are you fly fishing? What are you doing?
No, we're not. Definitely not fly
like spinner baits and stuff. And we've tried everything.
Nice.
I got fed up. We went to Lake Logan Martin for Memorial Day last year. Was it last year?
Yeah.
And we were like, this is it, man. We got 3 days on the lake. We're going to catch some fish, and we didn't catch anything.
Oh, man.
And I inherited a lot of like fishing gear from my grandfather. And so I was just going through his old tackle boxes and just trying anything and everything.
Anything you can find.
But I don't know, man. I think I'm cursed. We just can't.
We got the kayaks. We got the rods. We got the lures. We look the part.
Oh, you're ready.
But we're just out there floating.
Oh, I look cool. I look cool. Yeah, but
it happens.
I can't catch anything.
I've gone fishing several times within the last few months and caught nothing.
We went during a fishing tournament.
Oh, man.
Everybody's catching fish.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Not us.
So, it's like hit or miss. I'll, like, not catch anything for several trips. And then recently caught, like, a 24-inch rainbow trout. Like, I never catch anything that big. It was massive fish.
Yeah. Where was that?
I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Okay.
Was it in Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's our
really?
only trout spot. Yeah.
What? There's trout in Alabama?
There's 2 spots, but yeah. There's only one somewhat close to here.
Okay, well, that tells you what I know
Stockers.
about the local fish.
No wild trout. It's all stocked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. We've I've never fished the Cahaba, but I've a friend of mine, he goes a lot, and he seems to have luck there.
Yeah.
And then, but we have fished like some of the local lakes and stuff. Never been to Lake Purdy.
Okay.
Because after we bought our kayaks, we were like, dude, I want to take our kayaks out and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that there you can't bring your own vessel. Like you have to rent your boats from there.
You just put it in somewhere where they can't see you.
I didn't know if that, because somebody else told me that too. They were like, oh man, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just go. And I was like,
we put our kayaks in there a few times. You just put it in where they don't see you. You just don't pull up to like where the boat launched.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Got your bright orange kayak. You're just carrying it down.
Yeah,
the
you
water.
just look for the other guys putting their kayaks in on the side of the road on 119, and that's where you go.
Okay, well maybe you can tell me where the spot is to do
right.
that.
Yeah,
but there's nobody out there like policing the waters or like,
not that I know.
Obviously, you're in your own kayak.
Yeah,
like,
not that I know of. I've never had any issues out there.
Okay.
But definitely float the Cahaba. You'll have a lot of luck out there. That's where you'll catch a bunch of red-eye bass and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
We floated it a
fun.
couple of times, but I was like, I'm not gonna catch anything, so I didn't bring my fishing gear.
Oh, you will. Yeah, it's a good time out there.
Well, you've never gone fishing with me, so I don't know. I think we scared the fish away or something.
Yeah, we probably both skunk it up on that day. I don't have the best luck either. I enjoy fly fishing simply for the fact that it takes you to some beautiful places. It takes you to some postcard looking, mountain terrain, like beautiful rivers and things and then fly fishing, you're constantly walking the river. So it's a change of scenery every cast, I didn't catch anything on that cast. I'm gonna keep walking and cast down here. And then so like by the end of the day, you've walked like a couple miles and it's just nothing but beautiful. That's why you see fly fishermen in like Tennessee, Colorado, like Washington, Oregon, like all these, and then on the North Carolina, Georgia, like North Georgia, Blue Ridge, places like that are just amazing. Even if you don't catch anything, you just look around like, oh man, this is great. So that's typically what we do is go on camping trips and go fishing, and we catch them or we don't. But either way, it's a good time.
So who introduced you to fly fishing?
My buddy Stu New, that's his name.
Okay.
Scientist at UAB.
Stu?
Yeah, Stu's the man. So he introduced me and so I have a diehard group of buddies that I grew up with that we're still all best friends since I met them when I first came to their school in middle school. But Stu introduced pretty much all of us to fly fishing, and yeah, it's been fun. So like I said, we're going to North Georgia Saturday at like 6 a.m. We're hitting the road just to go fish. Again, might not catch anything, but where we're going is going to be so nice. That's like, it's a good day.
So just like a quick weekend
trip, I guess. Well, in that case, we're just going for the day. You know, a few weeks ago, we went and got a cabin. Out of my guy friends, all of us take COVID pretty seriously. So everybody's been either working from home or quarantine or what have you, or constantly tested. So it's pretty safe around these dudes. So we got a cabin, went out there and fished North Georgia, out in the woods near Helen, Georgia. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like a little German mountain town where they celebrate Oktoberfest and stuff. It's pretty cool. Cool area and cheap cabins too. So
pull up, Katie, if you can pull up his account, that first page. There was a couple pictures that you had. Scroll back up towards the top. That scroll down. So like that picture on the left, below that one.
Oh, down.
Yeah, right there.
Right
like
there.
Where is this right here?
This is in Alabama.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
64 River, I see it.
Right.
Doesn't look like Alabama, man.
No, it doesn't.
You got some mad photography skills, dude. That looks awesome.
So that was actually shot on my cell phone. I didn't have my
told
DSLR.
You. See, there it is, man. Like,
I didn't have my DSLR that day.
I can't tell the difference anymore.
Yeah, that day I didn't have my DSLR. Not wet wading, so I have waders on. I'm in the water, like, up to my chest. So definitely not dragging the DSLR out in that. But
do you do a lot of fishing like down in the Gulf or like?
Not really. I mean, I'll do it when we go, but I'm not any good at it. I don't know what I'm doing down there. I grew up down at the Gulf. Like every summer, my family has a spot down in Orange Beach. We had a shrimp boat, so I spent most of my time on a shrimp boat.
What? You had a shrimp boat?
Yeah, I'm a modern day Forrest Gump, but
wait.
We did. My family did. It doesn't exist anymore.
What is that like?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It's a tiny, tiny little vessel. It wasn't like some commercial fisherman, shrimp boat.
So y'all are just casually shrimping.
It was my grandfather and
the casual shrimper.
Casual shrimper, yeah.
Yeah, it's a family thing where they would go out on the boat, drink beer, drag a net through the bay. At the end of the day, just have shit tons of shrimp, and they would take like 2-liter bottles, cut the top of the bottle off, and just stuff it with shrimp, throw it in the freezer, and give it out to family. So like everybody had like one of these 2 liters just full of shrimp at all times.
Damn. So did they live down there?
No. So we just have a house down there in Orange Beach.
Okay.
My great grandmother lived down there back in the day, like in the 90s,
okay,
before she passed. And then now it's just like a family spot. My grandparents are slowly migrating there for good.
Sure.
Yeah, they're trying to sell off.
And stuff,
right. They've been retired forever. They're trying to sell off their house and go for good now. But yeah, that was the childhood on the Gulf.
Maybe we stop fishing and start shrimping.
That's
shrimping,
right.
Yeah, man.
That's
just
right.
drag a net through the water, drink beer. I could do that.
I was so bored as a kid. It was only fun when they brought everything on the boat, and then you had all these fish and crazy shit flopping around all over the place on the boat, and they're sifting through it for the shrimp, and that's like trash and fish and shrimp and everything else they're sifting through. Yeah, I mean, it's in the base. I mean, it's just a big ass net they're dragging down at the bottom. But yeah, it was so boring. And then fast forward to today as an adult,
that would be
enjoys
so
a cold
awesome,
beer.
dude.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
dude, that would have been awesome.
Like
man.
Have a 6-pack and just cruise the bay and just go over and turn the wheel again and then go back over and drink another one. It seems pretty cool.
Dude, that is cool, man. You got to get back into that.
Yeah, I'd love to.
That's pretty rad.
I need to hit the lottery. I told my grandfather, I was like, if I hit the lottery, we're getting a shrimp boat.
So what does a shrimp boat look like? I mean, could I just put a net behind any boat?
I don't know, man.
Take the kayaks.
Yeah.
You get on one side and we'll cast a net.
It's not a bad idea.
Just paddle power.
Yeah.
Once it starts getting full.
I back that. That's about as much as I know about it. I don't know, man. I just know it had these like bars off the back of it.
Yeah, I imagine like the Forrest Gump boat.
Right, that was dragging. But again, it wasn't very big. It was a smaller boat. But It did. It had a big ass net, and then they just drag it and then pull everything on board. And then you'd have like dolphins following you because all the shit falling out of the net.
I literally thought you were about to say we'd have dolphins get caught in the net.
No. No, that'd be a huge bummer.
Oh, dude.
No, they just follow it and just eat everything. So
we got to toss the dolphin back in the water.
You know how you go to the Gulf and see all those people pay like tons of money for those dolphin cruises and stuff?
Yeah,
so like when I was a little kid, I was like, why are they on the dolphin cruise? Why don't they just like hop on our boat and
start shrimping?
There's dolphins everywhere. Yeah, just get in the boat, guys.
Dude.
Well, yeah, it's cool. Good times.
So what's life like in 2020 running your Instagram BHAM and you
it's
said
interesting.
So I kind of alluded to this earlier. Do you have businesses that reach out to you that say, "Hey, I want to partner," or I want to get some exposure? Like,
yeah, I mean that's an every single day thing.
I was about to say, man, you got like 50,000 followers, like.
But you know.
So how do you?
I don't know.
What do you do with
that? I'll create relationships with these people, meet them, and kind of explain like that's not what I do. You know, I'm not here to tell everyone that your restaurant's better than the other one down the other pizza spot down the street. Like that's just not what I'm here to do. But, you know, there are other things we can do. You know, you can be a part of some big giveaway that we do eventually, or just kind of like, let's create that relationship to where you know what I'm about and I know what you're about. Like I'm not going out to just promote all these small or all these businesses in general.
Yeah.
Because you have to imagine, I get like an email or a DM every single day, and it's kind of, you get burnt out on it. I mean, I'm sure people are like, I emailed him, he never responded. It's like, I sure didn't.
Jerk.
I was deleting all of them that day. No, it's interesting though.
But do you think there would be some kind of like financial incentive to do something like that?
There is.
Just not interested.
No, there is, and there has been. Okay. I mean, to sit here and say I haven't made money off of Instagram BHAM would be a lie.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie about any of that, but it's not from me selling people shit they don't need.
Gotcha.
It's more so in those cases are me either friends or people that I have a working relationship with where I'm like, hey, let's provide an experience that your company's willing to offer to people that might not get that experience. Here's a good example. Like, and I don't know what your childhood was like, but I know what mine was like. I wasn't invited and given free shit to do anything, you know, growing up or as a teenager. Like I wasn't getting free concert tickets. I wasn't getting this, that, or the other. So here's an opportunity to do that, you know. So that things like that, you know, and not to like just, you know, I guess talk about all of it, but that's just an example. Like for a while, you know, I had a partnership with Sloss Fest and stuff, and we would give away tons and tons and tons of tickets. I mean, in turn, things like that make them money. It's another thing in promoting what they have going on, which is something I believed in, not only for what they're providing as far as this badass festival, but they did a lot for local musicians as well.
Sure.
So it's not just a big corporate thing. They did a lot for Birmingham bands, rappers, you name it. That was huge. So things like that I actually believe in, that I know is not going to bite me in the ass. Like I'm not just going to run around and just promote a bunch of shit.
Gotcha.
Just, you know, it is what it is.
Fair enough.
That'd be like you guys, somebody being like, hey, have me on your podcast so I can sit here and just talk about, you know, it's kind of like, why?
Yeah, not really into
into it. Yeah. So it's the same thing. So,
well, rip Sloss Fest. I mean, that was.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't.
Yeah. That's such a drag that it kind of ended. Do you know any of the reason behind some of that? I guess I'm sure it's financial. I would think. If you
think about it, every year it's like those last years they just kept having problems with the freaking rainstorms and shit.
Man, I know that's gotta have hurt so much.
Yeah, especially the last one. You know, the last one cut the entire festival short. And then they actually, Red Mountain Entertainment, you know, didn't they? They got bought out by what's the major concert folks? Live Nation.
Yeah.
So I
did not know that.
Yeah. So I'm sure Live Nation had a hand in that. Like, we've got this one. You know, do we need? I don't know. I don't want to speak on their behalf. Right, you know, who knows? You know, I just know all the people that were behind Sloss Fest were great people doing awesome work. It was a fun festival.
So it only lasted 3 years, I think.
I can't
like
remember,
that.
3 or
I think it was
4,
like 3
something
or
like
4.
that. Yeah.
Do we have any other like big? I know we have like the local Slice Fest, like here in
Slice Fest,
Avondale and stuff. But like,
do we
have any other big festivals?
There was the other one. What was like a year ago, like Moon something festival. And I feel like a jerk. Sorry to the people that run that.
Yes, I do remember seeing posters for that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know what it was really about. I think it was the first.
There's a lot of like indie bands and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and you know, underground hip hop scene and bands and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's always people making shit happen in Birmingham. You know, the Live Nations or the big guys of the world might not necessarily think about Birmingham as like a go-to spot to make shit happen, but the people who believe in this town, the people who love Birmingham, they're willing to put in the work to make shit happen. That's one of the best things about this place. And there's a lot of people out there trying to do it, which is super cool.
That is
for
cool,
sure.
Man. So who are you stoked on right now, or any big? I mean, obviously with COVID going on, it's like a lot of things kind of stagnated and stuff. I heard
my life has like been on pause. It's been so
I know, man. It's driving us all crazy. That's the incentive to start this, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And that's, you know, with the new baby and everything and COVID, it's kind of just stagnant in the city and everything. I've just kind of taken a step back and chilled with my daughter and just hung out and watched stuff, you know, start to happen. I don't know, you know, but
it's crazy. I think at the time of this recording, they said that restaurants and stuff can offer like to-go alcohol sales again and stuff. So I think they're trying to help like local restaurants kind of get a leg up.
That's good.
With the cases going back up and everything, I know.
Yeah, it's good.
Everybody was.
It's been pretty wild. I can't imagine to be in those the positions of those owners of those businesses and having to get creative. I mean, I think to like Queen's Park, that bar that does like these cocktails where they like make a some sort of package for you to make your own kind of deal.
That's pretty.
At least that's what I've seen from the outside looking in. I don't know.
I've never. You're the second person that's mentioned Queen's Park. I haven't been there. I started following them and stuff. And
there's
it looks
so
like
many,
a rad place.
Like so many bars and restaurants like every month it seems that pop off. You know.
I figured you'd be the one in the know, man. You know.
I usually, I am
the newest, latest, greatest and stuff.
I am, but I don't get to them that often. You know, being a dad and all that stuff,
man.
But. It's a lot of restaurants that open up. It seems like every month, and then the bars as well. But that's a good one. Queen's Park's cool. So
that's cool, man. So no one, no other businesses and stuff. Anything I maybe wouldn't have heard of, or anything new that's come to town. You know, you mentioned some.
I don't know.
Like I know, like when I was growing up or in college and stuff, a lot of my friends. Had the same ideas. They're like, Birmingham sucks. I'm getting out of here,
right?
You know, and you know the grass is always greener type deal. And had some friends move out to California and move all over the place. But then they ultimately all kind of sort of migrated back.
Right. Yeah, it's like we'll see you when you want to have kids.
Yeah, when you want to settle down.
Right. It's just the way it is. And that was the whole thing behind everything that I do. You know. As far as on social media and as far as that account goes. You know, I grew up loving this town, obviously still do, believed in it. I remember when Railroad Park was just a field with burning barrels and there was no park there. It was homeless people, burning barrels, and trash, and that was it. And nothing was down there. The ball field wasn't there. Good people wasn't down there, like nothing. But you know, growing up here, I still had a sense of pride of like, this is my town, dude. Like, this is where I grew up. You know, I love it here. It's got so much potential. As soon as somebody sees it, it's going to pop off. And then sure enough, you know, they build that park, they build Railroad Park. And everything blows up around it. And then people have a sense of pride about it. People that grew up here realize, you know, I can do it here. You know, I don't have to run off to Atlanta or run off wherever. I mean, they can do those things, but they're going to want to come back and like, you know, start something up here, which is super cool.
Dude, I think the whole City Walk thing that's going on, you know, just seeing the lights and stuff downtown, like it's, it looks so cool, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, I haven't seen really any other, I've never been anywhere else that's done something like under the bridge like that.
Right.
Or has like I think, you know, we had Peter on last episode and kind of talked about the skate park aspect of it, but I think he said the entire thing is going to be like 10 blocks long.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
And then just driving around and seeing the lights lit up from the interstate and stuff, it's just wild, man.
Yeah, it's already looking pretty cool. But when they build that park, that'll be a game changer.
Dude, it's been a long time coming, man.
It has. It's just been a dead zone forever. And, there was such pushback about that interstate dividing the city anyways. So hopefully this bridges that gap, And then the football field's going to be over there now.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, the whole uptown area.
Yeah, it's to a point now where if you didn't drive through the city after, you just stayed out of the city for like a month or two, and then you drive back through it, you're like, what? Like, it's so different. Old dilapidated buildings are disappearing and new stuff's popping off, which can be both good and bad, but still, it's changing,
Speaking of changing, you may know about this more than I do, but they had talked about, they said the skyline may change soon, that we're going to get like a new tower building that's going to be taller than like the Wells Fargo building and the AT&T building. And, we've got like 4 main buildings downtown there, like, Heavy's Corner and stuff.
Right.
Do you know anything about that? Have you seen the renderings?
No.
Well,
no.
This is the first I've heard of that.
Heard it here first, folks.
Me and a coworker. Yeah, we'll have to look it up. We'll see if we can find it, but see if we can find some pictures. But yeah, there's a proposed building that's going up. See if you can Google it, like new tallest building.
For who?
It's just gonna be like retail, and like I'm sure they're gonna have apartments and stuff in it, but it's wild, dude. It looks like it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be like definitely the tallest building in downtown, and I need to know more about it. We'll just have to find it.
It's tall. It's gonna be new and tall. It looks so tall. It's gonna be so tall.
I haven't heard
tall building coming to Birmingham.
Right. I think Katie found it. It's called The Block. And it's going to be like the new tallest building in the city if they build it. And I think it's happening. I mean, so there's a picture of it. Look at that thing, man. It's huge.
Wow.
It's like Jenga.
And I don't know if it's going to be like.
It looks wrong.
Mixed. The block proposed.
Not bad, but it looks like. Scroll back down. It looks not right. It's cool. It's so weird.
Dude, that's.
Anyway, I missed the.
Yeah, I'm wondering where it would go.
Yeah,
it's on
Second Avenue North. What is that by?
There's all kinds of stuff over there.
By Paramount.
But anyways, yeah. So anyway, that could be a new addition
that's
to the city, man. It looks pretty wild.
Must have missed that. Yeah.
How did you hear about that?
I think I just was Beham now, just scrolling through and
I missed that one. That's crazy. It's weird to think about them building an entirely new building that big, since there's so many that are still just in ruin.
I guess that's the thing. It doesn't look like anything else that we have downtown.
Right.
That looks out of place.
Looks like a new modern building that's going. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you think of those buildings over there around Paramount and what's over there? The John Henn building.
Yeah. The Heaviest Corner.
Yeah, like that. I don't know. That's not what I expected.
But
that's interesting.
Well, you mentioned like there's older buildings that they could probably remodel or do some new stuff with.
I just remember the delay on like the Thomas Jefferson Tower, where those condos are.
Yeah.
It took forever for somebody to get in there, and eventually they renovated it and turned it into condos, but. It took forever. And there's still other buildings that are just sitting vacant now, too. So.
Well, I know that, the Red Mountain Theater Company, they're building a new building over next to, not far from the park, and, Buffalo Wild Wings and all that stuff. I think that's, 3rd Avenue South.
Did you hear that Arby's bought out Buffalo Wild Wings for, $2 billion?
Yikes.
I did not.
Would you ever imagine that Arby's had $2 billion to spend?
Who eats at Arby's? I like Arby's, personally.
I just had to interject
Katie
because that... You ever get heated on something? That kind of heated me.
You didn't like...
I don't like Arby's.
You don't like Arby's
They have the meat.
They have the meat.
I guess, and that...
I guess I'm in the small percentile that I don't eat Arby's a lot, but occasionally I do not mind.
You may get some roast beef wings at Buffalo Wild. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
No, but next to my office, right across the street, there's a building that the Red Mountain Theater Company was going to buy. They had CAD drawings online and everything, and they were going to mod it out to be used for whatever they're going to be doing with it. But they canceled the project because getting that building up to code and the limitations that, from my understanding, the limitations that the city was putting on them to make it like they couldn't change certain things, and maybe it's like a historic landmark of some kind, I don't know, but it was cheaper for them to just go break ground and build a new building than to try to make that building work.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that there's probably a lot of old buildings, and I know like the old I think it was like an insurance building. It's right over there next to Publix downtown on South Side and stuff.
Yeah.
There's that big white building, the Liberty building.
National, I think. Yeah.
I've heard that building's full of asbestos, and that's the reason nobody, and there may be some construction going on now, but like for the longest time, nobody would touch it because the money it would take to get all that asbestos out and make it up to code and actually be usable. You could just go build a building somewhere else and just start over. You know?
I was shocked when I saw that there was any renovations or somebody bought up the American Life building on the north side of Birmingham. That was a popular like urban exploring spot for kids to go break into and go up on the roof because it had some pretty sweet views of the city and stuff. But it was a wreck inside that place.
Really?
Yeah, it was jacked up for sure. I was really surprised. And now you drive past it and it's like all under construction. It's got like brand new windows. You can like peek into them and see new walls and sheetrock and everything. It's nuts.
So were you ever into like the whole urban exploring deal? And
so that was a part of the early years of this whole thing for Instagram BHAM. Was half of it was me and maybe a buddy or two going around and shooting photos from climbing on the outside of buildings up on the roof or into the building, whatever. Funny story, got caught by a cop early on. This is like one of the few instances when I knew the Instagram BHAM thing was taking off. And I just was going out on a limb like, sir, I'm doing it for this, and explained who I was and what I was doing. And he's like, oh yeah, I follow you. And he's like, hey, do you mind showing me how to edit my photo? And I spent the next 30 minutes teaching a police officer how to edit his child's photos on his iPhone. And then I was like, all right, well, so we're good here. And he's like, yeah, man, just don't come back. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks, bye. And just like left.
That's pretty cool. Maybe I guess you had to have a ticket there.
Or something. But so that was the early years of that. And then, didn't want to have any jail time, so stopped doing it.
Well, a friend of mine, he's part of the whole, or he was, I don't know if he still is, the whole Steel City Urbex. You heard of those?
Justin was a part of it.
Justin, yeah. And, man, they would go to, like, these insane places. And they're sitting on the edge of, like, the tops of these buildings. And I'm like, how did you even get up there?
Right.
You know, and they would...
with permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I see these photos that have been popping up recently, like all the, like... caves and stuff that are the mining tunnels,
the underground
and stuff, all that stuff, and I'm like, I would never have the guts to go down there. First of all, like, how do you even get to some of these tunnels and stuff? And apparently they're all under the city.
Yeah, there's like mine shafts all underneath Birmingham with these like hidden rivers and stuff. It's pretty crazy. Just old abandoned mine shafts. You don't even know they're there.
I'm learning so much this episode. I had no idea.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
it's pretty
wild. Wild. Yeah. So,
do you know how to get to it?
I was about to say, you do any underground mine shaft?
If I did, I couldn't tell you.
Damn it!
I don't know. We'll have to get Justin back on here and ask him.
There's like an account, Underground Birmingham. Those guys do all that stuff. It's
nuts, dude. I would be in perpetual fear that it would just like, you touch a wall and it just caves in on you.
Right.
And just die.
Right. There's a reason those things are blocked off, but it's pretty interesting to see for sure. I mean, it's a big mining city, like all over Red Mountain and stuff. It's pretty cool to see it though.
Yeah, you can see like the entrances, like if you go to like Red Mountain Park, and just hiking those trails,
right?
And you can feel like air coming out, and it's like, dude, there's no telling how deep this goes.
It's always pretty interesting taking people that aren't from here to places like that, and they're like, what is that? And you explain, they're like, holy shit, like that's crazy. Like, we're used to seeing these things growing up in Alabama, somewhat, and then people from, like my wife, for example, she's not from Alabama. She's from New Jersey, and she sees it, and she's like, what? Like, you guys were just running around? There's like an open mine shaft? Like, pretty much, yeah.
Anything for the photos, man.
So when we talked to Nick of Eating Alabama, he mentioned that a lot of people will reach out from out of state wondering where to eat around town.
Right.
Do you have people from out of town reach out to you like, hey,
yeah. So, like, I'll get a lot of things. a lot more on the photography side. Like, you know, we want to shoot like engagement or, you know, photos and things like that for clients. Do you have any ideas? You know, stuff like that. Okay. But then also the flip side, the same thing that he deals with as far as like, hey, we're coming to town. Like, where should we eat? What should we drink? What should we not waste our time on? You know, things like that. Which I'm not, you know, I'm pretty open to everything. I'm like, dude, you can pretty much do anything in this town. You're going to have a good time, you know, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at what you do and what you see. Yeah. That's just how Birmingham is. Of course, I'll send people to my favorite things, you know, or what have you. But, yeah, it happens a lot.
Okay.
For
What's
sure.
your go-to? If I like, hey, I'm coming to Birmingham. I'll be here for 3 days. What should I hit?
So funny you say that. So I do like a tour with like anybody who comes here for the first time, and I like make it extra special. You know, we'll hit like the view to start things off up on the top of Red Mountain, like looking into the city, and like present the city that way, and then like take you straight through, and then maybe we could have a drink at a favorite spot, you know, favorite brewery, what have you. Shout out good people, Michael Sellers.
Shout out.
Yeah, and you know, and go from there. There's no shortage of good restaurants too. I mean, again, take your pick. There's so many good spots, just matter what you want.
Yeah.
So
you need to get a bus or something, man.
I know. Like my wife was like, you need to be
the
like
Beham bus tours or something.
You need to be a tour guide. I was like, yeah, I mean, I enjoy that stuff. Like I really, really thoroughly enjoy, again, presenting this city to people who just think, oh, it's a bunch of racists down there. You know, it's a shitty town. It's a ghost, you know, whatever. And then they come down. Like with my wife being from New Jersey, she brings people from New York, New Jersey, Philly, Maryland, whatever. They all come down and they'll, you know, spend the night, and I'll take them around town. They're like, holy shit, this is like better than where I live. You know, like this is great. Yeah. So like, for example, my wife's nephew, he's like 11 years old. He wants to play baseball for Vanderbilt, but he lives in New Jersey, like northern New Jersey up in the mountains. He wanted to like live here. He like came and visited. He's like, I want to live here. Like, this is great. This is a baseball town. This is awesome. You know, and again, you know, I'm presenting it in a pretty great way. I'm like, hey, it's not every day that, you know, all these things are going to happen, but it is cool. You can make it fun, you know? Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, reach out, shoot me a message if you want to know where to go, and I'll tell you where to go.
Well, let me know when you get your tour guide business started.
I will.
Because I feel like, yeah, just, you know, following accounts like yours and other people, there's all these hidden gems, and like you said earlier, just new restaurants and bars and stuff popping up all the time. You can't keep up. You know, where maybe 10 years ago there was like nothing going on.
Right.
And so it's pretty wild.
My wife laughed about it because for a little while when Uber was new, I decided, I was like, I'm going to drive Uber in my spare time. Like, whatever. I got nothing else to do for a few hours. And that's when it turned into the tour guide deal. Oh, okay. Where, like, it'd be people from out of town, like, what should we do? And I'm like, funny you should say that. Like, let's go. And I would take them around, and halfway to, like, their destination, it'd be like a history tour. Like, and to your right, you know.
Yeah, dude. You were meant to do this, dude.
It was fun, man. And it still is, you know. If anybody has any questions about stuff like that, yeah, don't hesitate to ask. You know, I'll respond to stuff like that. Just, I love doing it. You know, I love telling people what's up as far as what's good, you know, or anything they want to know about a place. You know, I'll find out for the both of us, basically. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah. So
you got your work cut out for you.
You guys both grew up in Pleasant Grove, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Whole life.
I went to high school there, and then we moved away my senior year of high school.
Okay. It was like the year before the big tornado hit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So PG got destroyed big time when that F5 tornado went right through the middle.
Yeah.
And like my grandfather's apartment that he lived in got mowed down. And
okay.
We had been gone for a few years at that point, and my parents lived up in Trussville, and then after me and Katie got married, we lived on Highway 280 for a while, and then we've been here for about 4 years.
Cool.
So yeah, PG, man.
Right on.
Very small town, you know.
Yeah.
And kind of talking to Peter earlier or on the last episode, it was definitely, there's nowhere to skateboard if that's your thing. So I had a tough time trying to
I'm sure
pursue that. And of course, my mom was like, I'm not taking you to downtown Birmingham, dropping you off. Like,
no. Not happening.
We would just skate at like the local church, you know, that had like some stairs and some
slappies on some curbs and stuff.
Yeah. So it was fun. We made the best of it.
For sure.
So it was cool.
So I grew up, like I told you before, in Hoover, Vestavia, but prior to that, I lived out where my grandparents live in Walker County. So I was very close to
we got some friends from Walker County. Yeah, man.
I was very close to being out there for, the rest of my life. But, around like second grade, we moved out here to Birmingham. But it's funny because like thinking back about Birmingham in general and growing up here, it was just something from a distance that I would see and just be like, man, that's awesome. Passing the building right now with, all the Christmas lights or whatever on the side of it. Those are things that I would pass on the interstate. Like that rules, and then like being drawn into it after moving out here. It's been an interesting process throughout like childhood to adulthood, you know, to like now it's like up in my face, like up close and personal, as opposed to passing it on the interstate. Like that's the big city.
Yeah. That's the big city. Yeah. And then you go to other big cities, and it's like I think Birmingham is just big enough. Right. You know what I mean? Like I go to Atlanta, and I'm like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah,
like,
it sucks.
The traffic's terrible.
Chattanooga's a cool town.
Chattanooga is very cool.
I like it, but it's pretty close to this.
Yeah, we went there 2 years ago, and just hung out, and explored and stuff. It's really cool. Really
cool.
rad.
Yeah, it's a cool spot for sure. Yeah, Birmingham's unique in that, and I do like the size. I'm glad we're not Atlanta. I'm glad I'm not sitting in traffic for 4 hours. That would suck.
So you live in Hoover?
No. So now I live, I grew up there, but I've lived downtown for, I don't know, a long time. But so we live right on the edge of like where Irondale and Crestline meet, not far, right down the road.
Yeah, so you're not far from us. Cool.
Right down here.
Yeah, man.
There's like 15 different names, like Holiday Gardens Eastwood area or something. So, yeah.
Well, when people ask me where I live, I usually just claim Avondale, even though technically we're in Crestwood.
Right.
But we're right on the edge, like one more street over, and you're in Avondale.
Right,
and
right.
Crestwood is so big, so most of the time I'm just like, yeah, we're in Avondale, whatever.
Right on.
So
quick question. So I'm going to flip it on to you guys. Whose idea was it to kick off the podcast?
The big guys right here.
Nice.
So we may have talked about this.
It's funny. We tell this story every time before the podcast, but we've never said it on the podcast.
Really? I guess not. I guess we haven't talked about it. So yeah, Zach had a podcast with some friends of his called the Mochi Mochi podcast that he did, and I didn't know anything about podcasting when he got into it, but I just remember watching his show he did with his friends, and they're just goofing off and having guests on, and it was really cool. It was really well done.
Nice.
And so I was always really impressed by that.
Thank you. Put a lot of hard work into that.
A lot of hard work, and then that kind of ended, and I'll kind of let you say.
So it was just a lot, pretty much the same setup we have now, but I was doing, we didn't have a switcher, so I was doing all the post-production, all the editing and YouTube stuff, the marketing for Instagram, the website that we had, then publishing to iTunes and Spotify. Before it was like super easy to do that.
But it had the video element, so it wasn't like just setting up some mics and stuff.
It was
like
video and
it's
audio.
like it's just like this with video cameras and all that stuff. So a whole lot to do.
And it just became too much. It was a lot to take on for one person.
For sure.
So we kind of, went our different ways. And Alex was like, "Yo, if you ever want to do it again, let's do it."
Yeah,
and I was like, I will do it only if I have help doing it. I was like, I just can't
do everything.
I can't do everything by myself again. And now, really, Alex does the majority of everything.
Yeah.
So he does all the little tweaks and stuff in post-production, which is minimal, I guess.
Yeah, that's not bad. Like, definitely having my beautiful wife over there doing the switching for us.
The brains of the operation.
Yeah, she really is the backbone.
She's the backbone of the show. Yeah. The post-production is not as bad as what he was having to deal with before. Right. And so really I just add titles and stuff and kind of tweak the audio a little bit.
Make me pretty.
Yeah, try to, man.
Awesome.
Try to make you look good.
Nice. Little hair, maybe.
But I think I could probably add that in.
Cool. Give you an old photo to work with.
Instagram filter for that.
Yeah. But it's been a cool hobby.
It's
just
great.
Something to do, especially since we're just been stuck at home and not doing a whole lot. So kind of took on this. And
your set's awesome.
Thank you,
I'm
man.
Jealous.
Yeah, we tried to make it semi-cool. We kind of rated, I know we've mentioned that before, but we raided our parents' house, just all our old toys and just junk that my parents never threw away. We were like, dude, we'll use this to
penny
decorate,
board too.
Man. It'd be cool.
No, it looks good. I like it.
Appreciate it.
I have a detached garage at my house, and I was like, should I turn that into a podcast studio? My wife was like, no, you shouldn't.
No.
Dude, if I had a detached garage, I'd probably turn it into, have you seen those guys on YouTube that do the garage bars? You see any of that? Man, it's seriously like a miniature bar.
Right.
And
can we pull that up?
Maybe we can
like
pull
a
it
garage
up.
bar.
It's really cool, man. And I mean, it's just like another man cave type thing.
Right.
But like some guys, there was a little news thing about some dudes up in like New Jersey or something that did it, and they don't have to have a liquor license because they just give the alcohol away. It's just for buddies and
all
stuff.
for tips.
But it's like, it's super legit. Like they have like a full working bar with the taps and everything. It's just built in their garage. And I was like, dude, if I could do that in my garage,
there's some pretty interesting videos on YouTube. Wow.
So some of these are more DIY, but the ones that
looks pretty official to me.
It was like super professionally done. Looked really
That's cool.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I actually work in my garage. So I have an old 4Runner, my second old 4Runner, where I always like constantly tinker with it. So didn't really have space for any podcast studio action for now.
Do it in the truck.
That's right. I'll do like a Steve-O version. I don't know if you ever saw his, but his early podcast was him driving around in like a Sprinter van with microphones on suction cups from the windows, and his guest would be in the passenger seat.
I didn't see that.
It's pretty interesting.
That's what I initially pitched to Alex, because he had a Harley parked here before.
Yeah.
I was like, let's don't build out a set. Let's don't do guests. Let's set up like 2 or 3 cameras. We'll wear lavaliers.
Yeah.
And then just the banter that we have while working as brothers on this Harley, we'll just cut that into an episode and make that.
Yeah.
And Alex was like, but that's so much work.
Dude, it would be so much work.
We're not just talking. We're actually working. And I was like, that's the beauty of it, because it starts, the bike is in pieces.
Right.
And then the last episode, the bike's done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're never going to work on that thing.
I don't even know how to work on it. That's the thing. It would just be us like tinkering and breaking stuff. So. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Nice. So the podcast has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great. The episodes have been good. I got to commend you guys.
So throughout running this account for the last 8 years, have there been any like memorable moments or big things that have happened that kind of got you to where you are now, I guess?
Yeah, one of the major things that happened was pretty funny. I'm at a park in Homewood snapping photos just for the account. It's like over near Homewood High School, Samford University. And then my phone starts blowing up, and I'm just like, what is going on? But I just threw it on silent and threw it back in my bag and like kept walking. It's like, I'll check it later. I get to my car after I'm done snapping a few photos or whatever, and I open my phone. It turns out Andrew Zimmern from Bizarre Foods had shouted out the account on Twitter. And I'm like, holy shit, like, how did this happen? You know, and his like little shout out was like, check this account out of Birmingham, Alabama. I discovered while posting my own photos. It just so happened at the same time he was in town filming an episode. And so I guess he was posting photos of Birmingham, but I guess somewhat exploring the city through maybe location tag or however. And he found the account that way. And then like all the people were like blowing it up saying, oh yeah, follow that account. It's great, blah, blah, or whatever. Or just interacting with his tweet, which was blowing my phone up. It's pretty nuts. Shortly thereafter, I like responded and said, hey, like, thanks. That's pretty cool of you to do that. You know, it's just a thing. And I explained the whole premise, like just trying to show off the city, dude. I love it here. That's it. And the guy ended up being super rad, and he was like, hey, you should come out and hang out while we film. And so I'm like, what? So
dude.
What year was this?
Fuck, I don't know, 2013, 14, somewhere in there.
Okay.
You can find it on the Instagram BM account because I've shared it the same day.
Every year, the anniversary.
The same day. Like, oh, this is fucking crazy.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Where was he doing he was doing the Bizarre Foods thing? Or he's got like 10 shows. I mean, he does like so many things.
That was the Bizarre Foods episode where he went to Hot and Hot Fish Club. And then I always forget.
What kind of bizarre foods would they have at
Hot Fish Club? They went to the Asian market.
Fish head or something?
No, so this is the
fish eyes.
This is the crazy thing. They went to the
spicy eyes.
They went to the Asian market and bought like a frog, like this massive frog,
dude.
And then like they cut out, and I was there when they were doing this.
So you went and hung out?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
And Chris Hastings, the chef, was there with him filming. And Chris Hastings' wife was like standing beside me after I explained, like, "Hey, I was invited," you know, or whatever. And so they like,
who is this dude?
Yeah, it was a big deal. Like, hey, what do you want? You know. And anyways, so they like cut open the frog and then like pull out the frog's heart, and the heart is still beating. And as it's beating in the palm of his hand, I want to say it's Chris Hastings. It might have been Andrew. I can't remember which. Ate it like while it was still like pulsating. Yeah, you can see it on.
What?
You can look it up. It's probably on YouTube. It's pretty gnarly.
That is gnarly. Man, what is
they
that
like
like a delicacy?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But they like zoom
beating
in
frog
and
heart.
You see it pumping. It's nuts.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I gotta look that up.
That's in Birmingham?
Yeah. It was at the old Hot and Hot Fish Club, over near Tom and Jerry's, like headed towards Highlands.
I'm learning so much about this city.
So that's one of the few things. Another thing was, this is pretty cool. This is a life goes full circle kind of deal. As a teenager, I was a skateboard punk, got in a lot of trouble, like legal trouble as a kid. Uh-oh. And so it is what it is. But I'm glad I got it out of my system early in life, as an adult, clean slate, good to go. Learn from all of it. But anyways, so having been in legal trouble at an early age, I fast forward to now, and then one of the most bizarre things happened. So like when I was getting off of probation as a teenager, the judge that I had to go see, I had completed everything they had asked of me. I'd done like drug testing, whatever the case, checked in, did everything by the book, straight and narrow.
Did you run somebody over?
No, but so I go to the court or whatever, and I'm not wearing a tie. And the judge was like, "Why aren't you wearing a tie?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know how to tie a tie." And he was like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, I want you to come back in 6 months and learn how to tie a tie, and I want you to tie it in front of the courtroom." So now he just extended probation 6 months.
What? Just for a tie?
After having completed everything they had asked of me.
Oh, dude, that's a drag.
As a teenager, as you can imagine, I was pretty pissed. I was like,
I'd
"Are
be
you
crushed.
freaking serious?" Like,
No. I'm supposed to be done.
I'm supposed to be drinking beers tonight with my bros. But no, I'm just kidding. But so I'm mad, And anyways, so fast forward to today, I get it. I understand what he meant by that, because everyone in that courtroom was in like bunny slippers, not even like giving a shit. And I'm in a suit. I'm dressed up like ready to go, but I'm not wearing a tie. It was kind of a life lesson thing. Like, hey man, like go all the way, you don't know how to do this, learn how to do it, whatever. And he kind of picked up on who I was and maybe home life for me or whatever, like, oh, okay, dad's not there, learn how to tie on your own kind of deal, whatever, something like that. So it made sense as an adult. Fast forward, life comes full circle. This dude is retweeting and reposting on Instagram BHAM posts. And then I like pick up on it and see it in my notifications. And it's that same judge that like made me tie the tie. And,
oh, wow.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
That is wild, man.
And I had to reach out to him. I was like, hey, man, just want to let you know I hated your guts, but I get it, and thank you.
Guess who tied his tie today, boy?
That's right. When I came back to court, I was like, all right, do you want double Windsor, single Windsor?
I know them all, man. I'm prepared.
I know all of them.
Everybody's ties in that courtroom. Like,
bow tie? Yeah. So, hey, come here. Before you go in there, let me tie you up real quick.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
So that's the second one. A third one was, and this is just, I'll just wrap this up real quick. Revlon, the makeup company, reaching out about a photo I had shared that a community member had shared with me that I had reposted. They wanted to take that photo and put it in Times Square, and they wanted to buy the photo as a part of like some ad campaign they had. But they had reached out to me about it thinking like it's mine, and I'm like, no. Like, that's not mine. It's this person. Let me connect you with them. I don't know what exactly happened with that, but either way, it's still bizarre that they found it through the account that I'm running, that I created for fun, and then it could have blossomed into this. Whether it did or not, I don't know. I tried to reach out to the person and say, hey, did they hit you up about this? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Either way, it's still pretty cool.
That's cool. Well, the internet being what it is, I mean, like, it makes the
small town Birmingham too.
It makes the whole world a lot smaller.
Right.
I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword. There's a million people on the internet, but there's also like, it gives anybody the chance to kind of get noticed by these big brands,
right,
to make a career of something that they may have otherwise not even thought about.
So those are just a few, but it's been a life-changing thing for me. It's connected me to so many great people locally and beyond. There's several people that met because of Instagram BHAM. In the early days, we used to do like radio shows at Iron City with Birmingham Mountain Radio and stuff, and then these little meetups and things. And those people became friends at those events, and now they like sell their artwork together at all the, you know, sidewalk sales or whatever it is in all these different suburban towns or downtown, whatever the case may be. These people are like best friends because of it. And I still am in contact with a lot of those folks, and it's pretty cool to see it. You know, lifelong best friends were made because of this account. I know a guy firsthand whose career jumped off because he won a contest that I put on for a local business, and now he like has worked for that business for 7 years. You know, it's insane.
That's crazy.
But, I mean,
the impact you have, man. That's so cool.
I wouldn't say the impact I have. It was like, it was a simple idea, and people ran with it and made it successful. Like,
it's definitely more community.
It's not me. You know, of course I run the account, but it is not me. It is its own thing, and I appreciate the people who are a part of it and made it possible. Cool. And there's so many out there, and it's just been fun to witness, dude. It's been great. I mean, hell, it connected me to you guys. Yeah, pretty cool.
That is cool, man.
Yeah. So
as soon as I saw like when you commented on one of our posts or something, I was like, oh, dude, we made it, man. We got his attention. That's so cool.
Dude, I mean, you guys are doing it right. And it's great. And I'm not just, you know, blowing smoke up your ass. You guys are doing a good job.
Well, thanks.
The episodes are good. The people you've got on are good. I'll give you a whole scroll of other people you need to have on next. So.
Sure, man. Well, we're always looking forward to that.
To many more years of this.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. This was a blast. And for anybody that's listening or watching, definitely check out the account and stay up to know what's going on in the ham. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.